This is the Hoof GP, and this cow has had some serious problems. Let's recap and see exactly her story to date and see how she's doing now. Despite modest first appearances, this cow has one of the lamest and most troublesome feet I've ever featured on the Hoof GP YouTube channel. This is a story of twists and turns and of ups and downs, and if you're looking for a video with a happy ending, this possibly isn't the video for you. We first saw this cow a few months ago, and as you can see, she had an unbelievably sore front right foot. We quickly set to work, and it got worse and worse the more horn we removed. But as it came to an end, I was fairly happy with how the trim ended up. We wrapped it with iodine paste, let her go, and looked forward to seeing her a month later. Which we did, and the results really weren't all that good at all. She still was completely infected with digital dermatitis, and as you can see, there were scraps of loose horn still connected to the corium. But that corium was being eaten by digital dermatitis. So this time we wrapped it with salicylic acid. And again, look forward to seeing her 1 month later. When I first looked at her foot, I really wasn't enthusiastic at all. But as we moved onwards with the trim, it began to look more and more hopeful. And there was a glimmer of hope in this cow's eye. Her foot really was starting to improve. So I'm really keen to get back to her and see how she's doing now. On that last trim, she still was infected with digital dermatitis, and we reapplied a block to try to keep the weight off the affected area. I'm really enthusiastic to get back to this cow to see if she has fully healed. But as I said in the intro, not all stories have happy endings. So here we are, 6 weeks on from that last video, and she's all queued up, ready to get in the chute and have a little bit of a pedicure. I've actually got a burst eardrum, by the way. That's why these are on, so please excuse me if I'm talking rather loudly.
And also it's the reason why you have your face shield on.
Yes, that's also true. Her back feet are pretty much perfect because they've been trimmed fairly regularly. We might as well buff them up, polish them up while she's in though. In hindsight, I'm really glad that I just said that on this very first foot, because as you're just about to see, there's a very good reason that we still trim all 4 feet, regardless of how recently they've been in the crush. You know, if you want to learn how to hoof trim or just improve your skills or learn a little bit more about cow's feet, you can actually take a course that we designed online at learnthehoofgp.com. Everything I'm doing is on there, pretty much everything. Apart from bursting your eardrum, I won't be able to teach you how to do that. Well, no, I probably can teach you how to do that, but I won't teach you how to do that. Learnthehoofgp.com if you want to take a full online course and know everything there is to know about cow's feet. I was so concerned and focused on her front foot and how she was walking on that in the race, I failed to look at her back feet at all, so I genuinely couldn't tell you whether or not she is lame on this foot. But what I can tell you is that I'm just about to uncover something I definitely wasn't expecting. And this is why we double checked that their feet are okay. She has a bit of a problem here on her heel. This foot right here is the very definition of a satisfying hoof trim. Let me know in the comments if you agree and see what I mean. You see, the whole aim of this channel was actually to teach farmers and people who work on farms, like advisors and dairymen, how to look after their feet better. Not their feet, the cow's feet. But that kind of got out of hand, and there's now over 340 videos, so it's kind of difficult to follow step 1 all the way through to step 5 and everything in between. So the online course starts at the beginning and walks you all the way through, and you can keep going back to wherever you want in a logical format. Quite a good idea, wasn't it? Unfortunately, it wasn't actually my idea. Somebody contacted me and said, why don't we do this? So we did. Anyway, let's check that front left foot and see how this cow is getting on, because this back foot is done and it's looking far better than it did 2 minutes ago. The reason I'm not washing this off, by the way, is because we don't have any water here. To go and get water, it would probably be like a 10 or 15 minute walk. This does not look great. The reality of hoof trimming is that you can't cure everything, and this is a fine example of exactly that. We've done absolutely everything that we possibly can from our end of things, but as you're just about to see, things have started to head in the wrong direction. I can see there's still some openness up here, so I'm not over enthusiastic about how good this is going to look in about 30 seconds time. Yeah, the problem is dermatitis. You see there's dermatitis here attacking the corium, and the problem with that is, as good a trim as we do, or anybody in the world does, if dermatitis is still present, then it's just eating away at the new horn that's built. It's like you building a brick wall, and every time you put a brick in place, somebody comes along and removes that brick. Well, you're not going to get on very well, are you? As I'm editing this video, looking at the differences between this trim and the last one, it's really depressing me and getting me down to see how far back this cow has actually come. She is miles better than when we first saw her, but that doesn't take away from the fact that the last time we saw her, she was slightly better than this. Now, is this a W or an L? To be honest, it's a bit of a W, which seems strange because it's still open, it's still sore, but we're managing it. We are getting it slightly better. It's just the dermatitis is getting in the way, and that's not something that we can do that much about. We can treat it, we can cure it, but the instant it's cured, it's still an open wound. So dermatitis can just reinfect that wound, and that's what's happening here. This is a copper and zinc chelate, which basically means it's the Trojan horse of animal treatments. It's an inorganic compound covered in an organic compound, so it sinks right into the foot and it should kill the dermatitis. But we're also going to dress it with salicylic acid to make sure, or at least give it the best possible chance of a full recovery. These TP blocks are organic, which is partly why I like them, and they last about 7 to 8 weeks, so that they last not quite as long as a plastic block, but longer than a wooden one. So they're really, really good, and obviously they break down organically and turn into nothing, which is fantastic. So like I said, we wrap it with salicylic acid, make some final adjustments, and move on to the last foot. Just going to get rid of this excess glue. If I hadn't just given you the story of this cow, right now I'd be telling you that I had every confidence this cow would completely heal. But her track record lets me know otherwise. I have got my fingers crossed for her though, and I know we've done the best job we possibly can. So guys, here's hoping.